you started out by kind of exploring a little bit what is not psychotherapy. Now, there is this sort of, at least in this country, the quite charged question about the difference between counselling and psychotherapy. Yes, indeed. And I don't want to kind of lead you onto thin ice, but I was just wondering if you felt comfortable to kind of say something about what you see to be a difference.
Yeah, it isn't a subject that worries me a lot. I do see some people who are only qualified as counsellors doing rather profound pieces of psychotherapy. I supervise that. I do far more supervising now than I do therapy, so I've got a lot of overview of what other people are up to. And I do see some counsellors a bit bounded and a bit working more at symptom level without following through on the implications of the symptoms. And I guess that may be a description of some sort of counselling, that is what people are setting out to do. But a good deal of the time, I believe that there are some snobbisms about counselling and psychotherapy, about this closed shop feeling of trying to keep out people who are not quite the same as you. I've sometimes been asked to write books about Gestalt counselling, and I write exactly what I would write if I was asked to write about Gestalt psychotherapy. I don't make any distinction in my own mind about that, which nobody has complained so far what I've written. So I suspect that there is a blurring in people's minds, which becomes very clear when people are trying to keep other people out. Fritz Perls said about the various schools of therapy, all are right, but some are righteous. And I like that, and I use it fairly often, because I think there's a little touche feeling even in me at times. I can notice that there is this little feeling that actually we know how to do it, and the others don't think we know. And psychotherapists, I think, often speak to me as if they think that counselling is mostly low-grade stuff.
Well, I mean, I think one of the differences is that psychotherapy is pretty much all qualifications around the MA level. There's counselling. Some counsellors do an MA in counselling. Some people do a 2-year correspondence course. And that may account for some of the differences you see that you refer to in supervision. Yes, I think that may be true. And again, I'm thinking of one supervisee I have who I think has no qualifications at all. He did, a rather 70s way out piece of training, which I think was very thorough, but didn't carry any sort of qualifications. And he had no university degree. He is a very deep and a very clever man, I think. And I see him as a good psychotherapist. And I would never use the word counsellor, because it tends to mean not as good as. But yes, and there does seem to be there does seem to be a difference in quality sometimes, yes, between the two. And yet I know plenty of psychotherapists who are not doing that good a job. No, that's true.
Yes.
I mean, equally, there are clients do make it. I mean, we make a choice when we train in something, whether we want to train as counselors, and clients make a choice whether they want to see a counsellor or psychotherapist, and they may not have the same meaning that we put to it, but it means something to them, and it perhaps makes it easier for some people to see somebody if they see a counsellor or if they see a psychotherapist. So,
I don't really know what those differences would be in anyone's mind, because I do find that in this country, lots and lots of people are very unversed about psychotherapy in general, whether it's called counselling or whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're thinking they can come for advice. Sometimes they can think they really think they can come to get the lowdown on what another family member is doing. I've had again highly qualified, intelligent people come to me and they say, no, but I don't want to talk about myself. I want to talk about my daughter. And it's just that we haven't somehow publicised ourselves in a way which makes it clear what the job really is. And so these things happen. And so whether people are thinking, oh, I'll go to a counsellor because it will be easier and I won't be hell raked, or I don't know, but that could be